Hey guys, I'm back a little bit late just because honestly I wasn't paying attention. But also, welcome back. Thanks for watching those ads. We are getting into Ascension to Ire. KeeN versus HeroMarine is going to be our first semifinal. HeroMarine is able to defeat Bly 2-1. KeeN got the walkover over a laser. And now we're into the money match, I guess. These guys already made a little bit of money, but of course going for the top place. Looking for that add button. There we go. Oh, production. What is it? What even is it? Alright, TvT in the top left as the blue Terran. It is Mal's HeroMarine. In the bottom right as the yellow Terran, it is KeeN. Yeah, TvT. I said earlier at the very beginning of the cast, I was really hoping that HeroMarine would advance, because I love Bly too, but HeroMarine has done this thing where, like, I don't know if he was full-time temporarily while I was summer or what, but he does a lot of streaming. He's played most of the time. He's never, like, truly stopped playing StarCraft 2, but man, in the last, like, 4 months, whatever tournament he has appeared in, not too many, but some, he's looked really, really, really good. Taking on Koreans, taking on the best Europeans, cementing himself as still one of the best European Terrans. There's not many, but the point is, like, he actually wins against the rest of the races, which is amazing. And while I didn't win the WCS Challenger, and he's not going to go to Montreal, it seems, I think he still did okay there. I think he was maybe beat by Euthermal, I want to say. I don't remember. But anyways, his TvT was good. He's good in general. I said beating Koreans. And TvT, he is more of a... I'm thinking of, like, all the wrong words here, like shy, introverted, but that isn't relating to StarCraft 2. Reserved, that's the word I was looking for. He's a more reserved player. He's definitely more about the macro, like 3cc builds, CC first into, or not CC first, well, maybe CC first, but yeah, CC into 3rd CC right after factory sometimes, like, definitely more of the macro player. Reserved also in his style. You can be a macro player, but you can also be all about the aggression, constantly dropping Hellions, Cyclones, like what have you. But no, he's also, like, you know, just kind of staying back, keeping it close to the chest. And it works out for him really well. Like, he'll, you know, do that, have the, like, slowest wind-up, but the most secure wind-up, and then come at you with a sledgehammer, and it's been quite impressive watching him. KeeN, as most Korean Terrans are known for, are definitely more of the aggressive type. Innovation does have his 3cc builds for sure, but even he's, you know, got the 1 base and the proxies and whatnot. So to see KeeN go for 1 base and HeroMarine go for 2, I mean, that happens to TvT all the time, right? I don't want to say that's, like, totally indicative of a European versus Korean, but, like, to an extent it is. If this is a best of 5, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if 4 out of 5 games was exactly the scenario, for instance. But if you're going to go Hellion, then you're going to have to try and take advantage of the high ground, and they both went Hellion, so it's more just who's going to take advantage of the micro. And it looks like KeeN barely went out with a little more damage on that Reaper and the Hellion. SCs are pulled to repair, a Marine pops out to help out the tiniest little bit. And that should be enough, even with the grenade. Grenade doesn't do any damage anymore. And KeeN isn't really looking to advance that aggression too quickly. He didn't go for another Hellion, which goes across the map faster. Went for a Cyclone, which is a little bit slower, but obviously packs more of a punch. But here, Marine, if you're going to play defensive, you should always get a Cyclone. Does have that Cyclone post-Hellion. And is safe now. He's going for a Viking, which is a, you know, pretty good tool to have initially. We have KeeN going for double Raven. He could be adding on a 3rd CC very quickly after this. In fact, I think that's exactly what his plan is. A lot of time, if you go 1 base first in TvT, you will be adding on that 3rd CC faster, especially if you find yourself unable to do damage or, you know, finding that they did, in fact, expand. It's also just a good build. Like, honestly, while 1 base almost always looks like it should be doing damage, if you get the faster 3rd, because that's just what you were planning on, it still kind of works out. But HeroMarine also going for a 3rd base is actually really well timed with KeeN's, so it's kind of still HeroMarine's game, since he took no damage from the earlier harassment. He's up 7 workers, and that doesn't bode well for KeeN. He does have still the slightly bigger army, more harassment options with double Raven, but he's not using them and really can't use them. The Viking patrolling over here and, you know, Marine Cyclones over here, it's not like auto turrets could do very much. So he's in a complicated little pickle. And a couple of new subs and resubs, so I have a little bit of a lull here. Thank you to Enkapaisa for the 2-month resub. Hype for more for the 5 months. Go solo cast. I just get the follows here. Shmugen for the new Prime sub, and Sven Imja for the new Prime sub. But then Rifkin donated bits to his own channel. Her hair is more golden than Ace Cheer 1. Here. I know a lot of bits to his own channel. And I guess at the very beginning of the cast, we had Brajov for the 5 months. Says, good luck, have fun in Montreal. Thank you very much. Hope to see some of you guys. HeroMarine lost to Snoot. He beat Uthermal. Okay, update on what I was talking about. I know him and Uthermal went 1-1, but I didn't see the end. So this TvT is obviously good. 3rd CC already over to its location. KeeN still waiting. Unfortunately, KeeN, not only did he not get a lot of aggression done, or really any at all, he also didn't get any scouting. HeroMarine got the tiniest little bit of scouting from something, I'm not even sure what, but even he was a little bit in the dark. Kind of technically taking a chance by doing this, I would say. If you're going to go for the 3rd CC, you have to acknowledge that you might be much later in the combat shields, which is a very important upgrade, and you just might simply have less army, because if they have gone for 1 base into 2, 5 racks, 5-1-1, then you just don't have that production around the same time. So that's why I said it might be a chance. These guys are kind of in the dark, and it makes sense that KeeN was a little more reserved about taking his 3rd, but then he saw that HeroMarine did it, and he's obviously like, oh, okay, whatever, then I'll just do the same thing. And now it's just a pure macro game. Who has a better macro? Well, HeroMarine unfortunately already does by having more CDs. He also has a bigger army supply. I mean, if it really is going to be an almost mirrored mid-game, you're going to see the direct translation of economy to army. You're just going to literally see how that looks. Because not only do we have the income, we also have army. Oh, I actually guessed the right hotkey. Go me. And you can see that it's kind of the same little turn that it's taken up for HeroMarine. But now we have the Raven for HeroMarine going for a little bit of harassment. KeeN going for a fast sensor tower to make sure he doesn't get blindsided as he pushes out. Now his army is not as big as HeroMarine's, but it might find HeroMarine in a bad position. That's TvT for you. And technically it finds HeroMarine without a large portion of that army supply. Nice Marine Scout, you know, even sees that. He's not really in a good position to do anything about it. This definitely feels like a crap, I can't actually get a good position, so let me just take a safe position. He's like, what is this actually doing? But it's safe, so hey, whatever. He saw the drop, he saw it another time with the sensor tower, only had a single tank to defend, a little scary there, but looks like it'll be enough to keep HeroMarine from rushing into his 3rd base. Main base is actually kind of open, 2 medevacs would have been able to get in there, but 2 medevacs are really worth, you know, that 1 medevac would definitely die, and then the other one would probably get cleaned up by production. Like, yeah, it's not worth it. Well, HeroMarine has, well, done kind of what I said he was going to do. He macroed up, played defensive, maybe a tiny little bit of harassment here and there, and now has that sledgehammer, 20 more supply, ready to just kind of kill KeeN with it. KeeN in a hurry to get back home in a more defensive position, took his 4th base on location, so that's like maybe the little bit of a bump of economy he's going to have, and he's also up 3 workers now. Raven again's trying to help out as much as possible. This one almost dead, has a lot of auto turrets that could certainly help. But they're just not as good as they once were, and the armies are getting too big to really even matter about the auto turrets. The great thing about auto turrets when it comes to big scale battles is their threat. It's huge. It takes the shots off. But that's really going to be it. They're not going to last very long. You can see KeeN even bothering to repair that, realizing the importance it could have. But that is a 30 army supply lead. And HeroMarine sees a concave. He's going to take it. KeeN, some of his Marines were actually behind the tanks and protecting them. So HeroMarine continues to siege hop forward. KeeN down to 2 tanks. Looks like this Raven scouted... Oh, no, it didn't scout the command center. All right, well, that could have been someplace HeroMarine just moves over to, because KeeN's going to have to be the one in defense trying to respond. Accidentally leaves 2 tanks undefended. 1, 2 gets sniped, but now KeeN is... It almost was like a... like just a telltale sign for HeroMarine, like, oh, you don't have a lot, so let me just take control of this concave and take control of the game. KeeN scanning those desperate last GG scans to tell you how exactly behind am I. And taps out. HeroMarine takes game number 1. Well, that worked out almost exactly like I predicted. Just good to see. The thing is I think those 2 players in particular are so predictable. In style. Obviously, you can't quite predict their build all the time. You might be able to predict HeroMarines, because he does like more and more command centers. But anyways, yeah, KeeN playing the 1 base and more trying to be more aggressive, and HeroMarine playing defensive. Most people could call that. But now it's going to be KeeN's map choice, so he knows to send it to me. Whew. Acolytes. Bracket a little behind. Alive is definitely facing sort of right now. The winner of that will face Penguin for the other semifinal. As more people trickle in, solo casting because Rifkin is has a very important appointment. I didn't realize how close those words were. That he is... he's got to attend basically during the middle of the cast, so... I'm solo casting. But that's okay, I like StarCraft 2 anyway. Oh no! The Windows 10 thing. I've never once actually used the, like, shortcut hotkeys or buttons to make the panels to show you, like, everything that's up on your screen. I've never once used that on purpose. I've always done it by accident. It's quite annoying. Anyways, we're on Acolytes in the bottom left. He won last game. It's the blue Terran HeroMarine. In the top right, as the yellow Terran, it is KeeN. KeeN Alive, both the... Oh, no, sorry. KeeN Alive and Penguin, all the Korean representatives in this European Cup on the European server. They do have that disadvantage, but they've done it so often that it's really hard to call it too big of a disadvantage. They're used to the time, they're used to the lag, and they're used to the everything else. Format, casters, whatever. Especially KeeN, who just literally seems to play in everything. Everything we put on anyways. I actually don't know if he's playing in, like, Go for StarCraft, something like that elsewhere, but I guess I wouldn't be surprised. Apparently he doesn't sleep, he just plays StarCraft all the time. Which is a bit, like, it's so weird, you know? Like, KeeN, I guess it's not weird, and I don't want to say sad, because that sounds literally sad, but it sucks that we get to see him so often, see him be a really good Terran, but there's so many good Terrans that it's like, sorry, you're still not going to be in GSL for very long. Sorry, you're not going to be going to the top tier of SSL, because, of course, he can't go to foreign leagues unless we invite him. He did get second at Gameland against Zest, what we put on, which is awesome, but these guys just can't go to any of the tournaments. It's either be the best in Korea or just, you know, be online, which, hey, at least they have all the online cups, you know? There is definitely a drought of sizable online cups post Wings of Liberty when the excitement and hype got kind of done away with. Playhams died, the ESV weeklies died, you know, like those things were cool, but eventually they got done away with, and there was a drought. All you could see was the major tournaments, which luckily there was still a lot of, and everyone was allowed to participate in. And then now we're back to region lock and a lot of online tournaments. The very roller coaster StarCraft 2 scene. I mean, it's going on 8 years. I'm lucky that I remember as much as I do. How long have you guys been in StarCraft, actually? I'm kind of curious. Like, what's your first memory of watching pro StarCraft? When are you really into the esports side, not just playing the game? We did have KeeN open up one base. It's Acolyte, his map choice, so there's always that weird dynamic of safe maps. You know, maps with in-base expansions. Hold on, Reaper's doing a little bit of damage. Should never do very much, though. Yeah, they're not. Just a little bit of scouting. Where, because you know your opponent's more likely to take that natural base, you're very eager to take advantage of that by attacking them. You could have also gone for your own base, right? And then probably had a good time defending if that's what, you know, the reverse mindset happened. But I think KeeN knows a little bit about HeroMarine. They probably know a little bit of each other. And that it's more likely he does take that natural. And he did. The Banshee's going to be a little annoying to deal with on the cliff bases, the ones that have a lot of dead airspace around them, not protected by the main base. That's where starport protection is going to be quite useful. Now, that Banshee was produced without Cloak, so she's not supposed to do very much, and KeeN did expand, obviously, after that. But did he see HeroMarine's specific build is my question. You know, he didn't see all of it, but I think he saw enough. 2 Cyclones come in to distract the Marines. The Banshee I thought was going to go into the natural, but it doesn't. That actually would have been a lot of SCV kills. KeeN missing out an opportunity here. Just a little bit of Reaper harassment over there. But yeah, he didn't see the second barracks with that Reaper, but he saw a tech. I think that tech was seen by the Reapers, actually, or the Cyclones. But he saw a starport, which he's going to see again here with the Banshee. The why I bring that up, though, is because if it was a 1-1-1, which is the most typical follow-up to anything in TvT, that starport would have been already done, right? Like, you would have seen the starport already done. Since it wasn't, you can kind of guess that it was a second barracks. If it's a second barracks, that's a bio opener. It's a bio opener, that means much faster sim and combat shields for them. And while that doesn't give them the flexibility that tech does in this matchup, it does give them mobility, which is really difficult to deal with sometimes. This Banshee finally doing something, I guess. Gets 1 kill. I'm helping! HeroMarine reacted to this very quickly, builds missile turrets in his base, though, and a lot more paying attention to this drop here. KeeN just simply doesn't have a lot of army that can move around quickly, so it's important that he is still on 2 bases, that third base made on in his main base. Even still, though, don't forget that it's not just about the mobility of medevacs, it's also about the mobility of the Marines. They can stim and concave much faster than any other game that really is played in TvT. You think you have a tank that can protect you against unstimmed Marine dropping in your main base? Like, who's scared of that, right? No. You have a tank, and it could get concaved upon. You have 2 tanks that could even happen with 16 Marines. So, KeeN has to be kind of careful about how he defends. Now, HeroMarine might not get any damage done. So far, not really getting any damage done. KeeN has some nice defense. But what he can do is stop that 3rd CC from ever feeling comfortable landing and still get his own pretty quick 3rd CC with still faster combat shields, which means that KeeN could never really take a fight. A lot of people saying they watched Husky first, which doesn't surprise me. About 2.5 months ago. There's the Babby, everyone. Everyone look, there's a little Babby StarCraft person. Sai StarCraft being a jerk. Yeah, I like Sai StarCraft. Oh my god, that Destiny analogy. Oh god, yep. Alright, so I kind of was gonna guess there's a lot of old schoolers. More than there are new people, and I was right. some people bringing up Brood War. But now there are 4 medevacs, 2 drops in each base. This is going to get really complicated for KeeN to defend perfectly. He loses the tank, but he cleans up the medevacs. However, now losing SCVs, the Vikings have to land, not as effective against Marines as they are against like a tank or something like that. This drop was not, well, it was cleaned up, but the medevacs lived, so that was okay. So 11 SCVs for, what, like 32 Marines? 29 Marines and 2 medevacs. Interesting. So we can see overall units lost is favorable for HeroMarine, and he did manage to still get the faster 3rd base. So I think his job is kind of accomplished. It's unfortunate that he doesn't really get to do very much with the much faster sim and combat shields, because I think he's not going to get anything done in the next 60 seconds. 80 seconds. I don't know how long combat shields takes to finish. That means that it is just going to go into, you know, Marine tank versus Marine tank. No one has that distinct advantage over the other. But HeroMarine has the 3rd base advantage. A little bit quicker and faster saturation at 64 SCVs. Up 12. That's pretty good. HeroMarine once again finding himself maybe in the lead in this TvT. He also has faster upgrades. He's going to have 2-1-1, way faster than KeeN even starts his 2-2, apparently. Does he have an armory? Yes, he does. He just hasn't found the gas, probably because he forgot to saturate at one point, or maybe just the fact that he didn't have his 3rd base where the gas is already done. They've always been building off tanks and medevacs, so only manages to get 1 upgrade going here. HeroMarine center tower now up around that natural base. 4cc on location is looking quite good. It's looking fabulous in this TvT. Well, KeeN responding in turn. I mean, it's acolytes. If you have these hanging bases, I wish there was like an official term. Like, I'm not nearly cool enough, like, you know, Tastosis or something to coin a StarCraft 2 term or phrase, but I wish there was an official term for these types of in-base expansions, because you have in-base expansions like Dusk Tower that are literally protected by your main. If you have to go to the natural, you have to go through the main, and that's a lot easier to defend than something that's just literally having dead space hang around it. So it's a very different type of macro map. You know, this is also like Ultrazeem, where everyone is like, Ultrazeem, what a huge map. It's going to be great for macro. And then you play Terran against a Zerg, and they just make like 40 mutas and kill your natural base over and over again. You're just like, that's cool. That's cool. Like, I'm cool with that. I hated that map. But yeah, I wish there was an official term. A hanging, so like a grammar term, like a hanging base, dead space base, I don't know. It should exist though. You guys think up one. So despite HeroMarine taking advantages in a lot of different places, definitely got the advantage on the economy from that opener, and now taking direct advantages to the army for that. Upgrades to 4th command center timing. Everything is in lead here for HeroMarine. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to break KeeN. Breaking anyone in TvT is going to be more, like, it's going to be difficult. Breaking anyone in TvT on a very defensive map, once they have these missile turrets up, it's going to be really hard to drop anymore. That's probably not going to happen. So KeeN might just be able to get his 4th base up, and he might just be able to get maxed, but not if he pushes out into HeroMarine. This actually is the worst thing he could possibly do. And he doesn't even see the army. Oh, okay, the map control was totally in HeroMarine's favor. KeeN is only protecting the outer rims of his bases, not the actual map. He gets concaved on by all of HeroMarine's Marines. He didn't even really need his tanks to help out there. And KeeN is now down 50 army supply. Finally equaling the upgrades, but now that 4th CC's never get on location. Never. He scans ahead, sees really not a lot, but 4 tanks are sieging just right now. So maybe can't break that, but can certainly keep it contained. And I love this immediate reaction to that engagement. You're just got such a difficult time killing a Terran player, but if you go directly into Liberators and they're guaranteed stuck in a base, Liberators will be king. KeeN's gonna try and beat back HeroMarine, the same idea, but one person has a lot of economy to back it up, another one doesn't. So HeroMarine might just lose his positioning for like 10 seconds. He'll come back with a vengeance. there are the Liberators. There's a second one. HeroMarine loses a lot of tanks before he unsieges. So that was a winning move for KeeN. But HeroMarine, like I said, is going to come back with a vengeance. He's already got a couple Vikings on the way. The loss of the tanks leaves supply to make more air units. He has the upgrade lead once again, too, so KeeN should be very careful how much he chases. This is a nice maneuver from KeeN. He's going to find an unmade planetary. And he's going to be able to cancel it if he just stims in here. Just a little bit of stim, a little bit of stim, a little bit of stim. Nope. Okay. We'll pay attention to that later. Oh, that's a lot of medevacs. The scan goes down from KeeN, though, and that might just deter HeroMarine from doing it. Yeah, it's a little too dangerous if the other tank player knows that's what you're doing. There are also quite a few Vikings that were held up in that natural. The Liberators siege up on the tanks once again, and HeroMarine is taking losses from this transition, whatever you want to call it, from KeeN. It's not as much as KeeN will be taking losses soon enough. He does get that planetary before it's formed, finds the SCVs too. HeroMarine gonna be a little bit sour. He's now been cut on the attack as well as on the macro, but he has 2 extra command centers. Does he have enough of a rally? He's been rallying air units, not ground units, and these Marines aren't gonna quite cut it, even with their upgrade advantage. I don't think, anyways. Well, maybe. KeeN's scared. 3-3 versus medevacs. Looks like 3-3 wasn't as good, but there's more Marines on the way. So KeeN picks up whatever he can, gets out of there. At least, oh, he didn't get out of there, just kidding, that died. At least he killed 1 base, but seeing that there were already 2 others is not a good sign. Now he's losing Viking control, and if he loses air control, he's eventually going to get just sieged way too far. He's trying a very dangerous maneuver by going for basically a literal base trade, like a base for base probably. But that seems to be his plan. There are sensor towers galore for HeroMarine. He saw it coming. He just doesn't really have an army to respond with. Planetary, if it had the Liberators already siege up with it, probably holds. The Liberators need to respond. HeroMarine tries to drop into that natural base. He had 4 medevacs just boost right on past. It was only 2 missile turrets. Really not a lot. And they are unable... that's not my words. They are able to fully unload. And that is not good. KeeN loses that natural orbital. He tries the same thing into HeroMarine's base, which had no missile turrets covering it. Only a rally of Marines that is not strong enough. He'll lose his supply depots, maybe an upgrade. I don't know if he'll lose the command center, though. HeroMarine could have an escape path if he just targeted down that missile turret. He's still up. There we go. The Liberators finally came to an important position. Looks like they stopped this base from dying and are now going to cause this base to die of KeeN's. KeeN's drop may be feeling cool and awesome, but it's really not amounting to very much. It did not get the command center either, and reinforcements are about to respond. Well, I do believe the Liberators are going to spell doom for KeeN. He has another attack trying to just bypass everything. That's really the smartest thing he can do in this situation. He also got a Thor, which is very smart of him, but he doesn't have enough to help out. I mean, this is a very delicate dance, usually, but the numbers are just so severely in favor of HeroMarine that it's obviously just more of a, like an NFL tackle than it is a ballet dance. Oh, he's creeping ever closer to that natural. KeeN's gonna run out of space to retreat to. He does get the kills on a lot of command centers, but HeroMarine was stacking units. He didn't actually siege his tanks, though. He could have maybe run on top of the tanks of KeeN, but okay, yeah, he recognizes it's game over. He's broken in the natural. That's gonna be a 2-0 for HeroMarine in this first semifinal. Looks like the other semifinal is already set. We had another 2-0 This time in favor of Sort of versus Alive. So Sort of versus Penguin is going to be ZVZ on the other side of the bracket. I'll get that set up, and we'll get into it as soon as this break is over. See you soon.